Hello guys, I hope you're having a great day today. I could not resist this palette. I don't have that kind of strength. An all orange palette for $12, like I knew I was gonna need it. This is the Orange You Glad palette from Colourpop. It's a 9-pan palette and it's actually my first 9-pan palette. I do have a build your own palette that I kind of curated for myself, and then I also have some of the Super Shock shadows as well, and I enjoy both formulas, so I'm really curious about this one. I will put in here so you guys can see it. I did do some swatches last night. I like to call them my fancy swatches. I did them in my bathroom, and then I also show them in natural lighting outdoors so you guys can see the difference there. And then I will also do some live swatches today. I'm going to put this on my eyes, play around, like a first impression kind of tutorial. If you guys enjoy this video at any point in time, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you would like to, and let's go ahead and see what this palette is all about. If I sound a little bit off at any point in time, I am still getting over a cold. I'm gonna try not to start hacking on camera, and that's why you guys are seeing me a little bit later this week. But anyway, here is the palette, Aren't You Glad, right on there, and that's what it looks like inside. So as I do these swatches, I do want to read from the Colourpop website to see how they describe these colors. This is insane. Like, they already released another 9-pan palette, the Strawberry Shake palette. They release so much. It's hard to keep up with. So last night when I did my swatches, I did use a stencil, of course, and then I also used concealer. I typically do that just because I have some concealer that I'm trying to use up and to cover any kind of discoloration on my arm. I'm like 5 different colors right now. I don't know how I got a tan. I never go outside. But anyway, I'm going to start with the shade Zested. So I'm going to start right here. I'm doing this backwards, so hopefully I can get a hang of it. And this is described as a matte pale apricot. Squeeze Me, and this is a metallic yellow orange with gold flip. Next, I'm going to go into Creamsicle, which is a matte peachy orange, and I'm going to go right in the middle because I misjudged that. Rise and Grind, which is a matte vivid orange. Clementine feels very squishy, and this is the glitter in the palette. It's an orange glitter with copper flip. Sunkissed Matte Neon Tangerine. Tangerine Dreams Metallic Mid-Tone Red Orange. Mimosa Mommy Matte Bright Red Orange. This shade is so pretty. Originally I read this as Mimosa Miami. I got a little messy there, but you guys get the idea. So the next one and final one is Je Peel Me, and this is a matte mid-toned rust. So that's the shades all together. So before actually starting with this palette, I am going to prime my lids real quick using the Colourpop No Filter Concealer. I know I sound like a broken record. I feel like I say this every video, but this is in the shade Fair 06. It's too light for my concealer, so I typically use it to prime my lids. I already have glitter on my face, which is great. I don't know, I just want to use as many shades as possible from this palette, so I'm gonna just start. I'm not really gonna put too much thought into it. So I think I'm gonna start with this shade Sun Kiss, that's that brighter tangerine color. And I'm gonna concentrate this on my inner crease. Laying the color down first, and then I will blend it. I feel like I always do the same shape when it comes to my eyeshadow. I always clean up that outer edge with a makeup wipe, and I've been trying to be a little bit more messy lately and a little bit more unstructured. Next, I'm going to go into Mimosa Mommy, which is that brighter coral shade there at the bottom. By the way, the brush I'm using is one of those that I always refer to. It's a cheap brush from a set from Amazon, and I really like it. I find that it's densely packed, so it deposits a lot of color, and then I can blend it out. And I'm going to center this more towards the center. I may do a cut crease today. I probably will end up doing a cut crease today. And then to blend, I'm using the Sigma E25. This shade comes off very pink. I thought it was going to be a little bit more coral. That could also be my skin tone. And I'm adding just a little bit more of that. I keep wanting to say Miami, Mimosa Mommy. I'm adding just a little bit more of that to build up the intensity. And then on the outer edge, I'm going to go in with Rise and Grind, which is the deeper tangerine color. Just repeating those same kind of motions. And just bringing that up a bit until it melts into Mimosa Mommy. God, what's wrong with me? I'm just kind of feathering out these edges with my blending brush. I want this really soft on the end. And I'm just building and blending until I get that desired color payoff. Next, I'm going to take my Colourpop No Filter Concealer again, and I'm going to cut my crease. And I do need a closer mirror for this. And that's my final cut crease and shape that I landed on. I don't typically do this full cut crease, but thought I would do something different today, and I'm just going to repeat that on the other side. Lastly, for my lid, I think I'm going to take Tangerine Dream and also Squeeze Me and do some kind of shimmer there. I will be wetting my brush a little bit. I'm using the Colourpop All-Star setting spray. This is in my recent project pan. I'm trying to use it up. So far, I really like how the mattes have performed. I have had to build them up, but I typically enjoy that more versus something that has a ton of pigment and payoff. I think it's just a lot easier to blend and a lot easier to work with, and you have a little bit more control. Definitely gonna have to build that up more. I will probably break out the good old finger sometime here soon. Even though my finger is working much better, I am gonna use the brush just to kind of carve out that initial shape. I was so proud of myself when I realized that this palette was coming yesterday. I thought to order this background, this coral background or bed sheet. It's not that fancy, it's just a bed sheet, but I thought to order that from Amazon and get my one-day shipping, but I forgot about my pistachio nails. That would just be too much of having my shit together. And then for this space right here, I'm gonna use the Squeeze Me shade. I think this palette would be even better if it smelled like oranges. I want to use the glitter in here, the Clementine shade, but I don't think I'll actually be able to trace it along here, which is what I would usually do with one of the heavy metal glitter liners from Urban Decay. I think I may use that. I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep it with Colourpop. So I'm going to take the Clementine shade with a little bit of glitter glue and just put it on my inner corner. The only other thing I want to do before finishing off the rest of my makeup, I think I'm going to add just a little bit of Rise and Grind, which is this shade again here. I'm going to add that like kind of as eyeliner across the top lash. I don't want to do anything super heavy. I haven't even decided if I'm going to add lashes yet. I just want to keep this nice and light and colorful and playful and very summer. And then this is the Sigma Flat Definer brush that I'm going to use for this. And here's where we are so far before I go ahead and finish off the rest of my makeup. I like this look so far. It's bright and it's colorful. The palette has been pretty easy to use. I haven't really had too many struggles, and it was also very easy to figure out a look to create. I didn't really have to think too much about it. But anyway, I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup. I may not add lashes. I haven't yet decided. I definitely am going to be putting on tinted moisturizer over a foundation. It's just too hot and I don't really feel the need to have a full coverage right now. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish up, do my makeup, and I will be right back. And here's the completed look. As you can see, I changed my mind and I did go ahead and add some lashes. These are the pure lashes in the style Diva. I chose these because they're nice and fanned out so you don't miss any of that detail behind there. None of the detail that I did put on my lid, but I really enjoy these lashes. This is my third time wearing them and they've washed really well. They kind of remind me of an orange, like that fanned out, like the veins in an orange. I don't know, does that make sense? Probably not. Anyway, for the rest of my makeup, I did stick with Tinted Moisturizer like I said I was going to, just to keep it nice and light. I did add some bronzer, and then I have been obsessed with these. These are the Flower Beauty Blush Balm Color Drops. This one is in the shade Melon. I thought it would be nice and bright and summery again, but I have been reaching for these so very much. I have two other colors and I have been obsessed. I did finish off the lower lash line. I kept that nice and light as well by using Rise and Grind and Creamsicle. So I use most of the shades in this palette. Actually, before I get into that, for my lips, I did use from Bite Beauty Meringue, and then I also used this. It's an ultra glossy lip from Colourpop in the shade Glass Lip. It has like an orange tone, so I thought it would go nice with this look to complete everything. But anyway, for this palette, my overall thoughts, I got to use pretty much all the shades. The only ones I didn't use were You Peel Me, the brown shade, which I know I will get some use out of later on. And I also didn't use Zested, the lightest shade in the palette, but I used everything else. As far as the matte shades, I didn't really have any issues. I did have to build them up, especially these brighter pigments, but as I say all the time, I do like that better versus something that comes off super pigmented and that can be a little bit more tricky to work with. I like when I have to build up color, so that's not an issue for me. The shimmers definitely performed better with the finger than they did with the damp brush that I use, but that's pretty typical, so I really haven't had any issues. The only issue that I do have and that I'm seeing more of now is the glitter shade. Even with using glitter glue, and if I didn't say it was the Too Faced glitter glue, I am still having some fallout from glitter. That could also be just what was left over from my hands, from my swatches. It's kind of all over the place, and also it could be for me using my damp Real Technique sponge underneath my eyes for my concealer. I could have moved it a little bit. That could be my issue, but I am having a little bit of glittery on the cheeks. But overall, I really love this palette, especially for $12. I'm impressed. I really love it. Let me know below your favorite palette from Colourpop, specifically these little 9 pans, rainbow collection. That's what I'm going to call it. They've done blue, they've done purple, they've done green. I also picked up Just My Luck because autumn is right around the corner, and I love a good green toned eyeshadow in the fall, so I'm looking forward to using that one. Let me know what you guys think is next. What are your predictions for Colourpop? It's only August, so we'll probably see like 2 more releases, collabs from them every single week. They are like the busiest company. I was just saying the other day, can you imagine working for Colourpop and trying to keep up with all these collabs and the promotions and what's coming out? I can't even. As a consumer, it's like too much for me. I can't imagine actually being employed by them, but I'm sure it's great. I wouldn't complain if I actually worked there. Anyway, let me know below your favorite palettes from Colourpop. Also too, let me know if you picked up this palette, what you think of it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. I thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you soon.